out here on run some points, trying to fish up shallow, throw some top water plugs at them, maybe a little swim bait, maybe a little fluke action. Kind of see where we go from there. Pretty certain as the day go on, we'll need to probably switch up and maybe start throwing a drop shot or Texas redworm, Carolina redworm. So let's go ahead and get to our first spot and see what we got. Coming out, hanging out, HookSetters, baby.
Morning.
Morning. Go ahead and stick some fish. One of my favorite spots because they got like 6 boat ramps out here. Makes it real fast for boaters to get in and out. And most of the major tournaments are held here, local tournaments too, for that matter. But it's real clean and easy to get to a place, so I like to come here. It's got one of the first parks or recreational areas that I get to up here from the lake, driving away from South Augusta. So that's everything you pretty much need. Good campgrounds, nice campsites. Got a professional disc golf course too here attached to it. 3 of them, as a matter of fact. I think this might be the entrance to the golf course coming up right here. Might be able to see it. Might be a little dark. Yeah. Got a whole disc golf shop back there, and 3 courses. Kind of got different skill levels, way past my skill level. I played one of them. Me and James played one of them one time, and we could barely get the disc down the range. Shouldn't be too busy out here today. Most people out of work. Marta Corps is releasing like a lot of water. I'm pull over on the side up here. I'm kind of release all my stuff. So I can be ready to launch. Here. Process, you gotta get your grab covers off, turn your battery switches on. most important thing. Put that boat plug in, or it'll be sinking. Well, all right, that'll get us ready to go.
So how long you been fishing?
I've been fishing about most of my life, actually. I mean, I started fishing probably around about 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock. Started fishing around 6 years old, I think. Started coming out with my dad and fishing from the bank mostly. Come out here at times. Coming out here so, but seriously though, and you know, tournament style fishing, I would say in probably the last 6 years now. Okay. Yeah, last 6 years now. I've been real serious, like a tournament angler. But I've been fishing my whole life, so, and I appreciate all styles of fishing. Bass fishing and it's probably one of my favorites, but I do enjoy crappie fishing, striper fishing. I like to go out even on guys, even though I can come out here myself. I still like to go out with guys from time to time, you know, have a good time and kind of take all of the pressure and stress off of me of finding a fish and put it on somebody else, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Beautiful day. Trying to get some fish, baby. All right. See you later. Today is gonna be start out with a swim bait first thing in the morning, maybe a top water plug, you know, see what we can get going on that. Hopefully they're schooling up somewhere. Kind of transitioning from the post-spawn time now into going into the summer pattern. As these water temperatures warm up, you know, they'll start pulling off and getting a little deeper and deeper. So I'm gonna get out here and run some points. kind of fish up shallow, throw some top water plugs at them, maybe a little swim bait, maybe a little fluke action. Kind of see where we go from there. Pretty certain as the day go on, we'll need to probably switch up and maybe start throwing a drop shot or Texas redworm, Carolina redworm. So let's go ahead and get to our first spot and see what we got. Start off with a top water bait, see if I can get some top water action going. It's just one of my favorite ways to fish. Just full of action when they come up and blow up on the top water plug. Normally when the bait fish are spawning out, which the herring spawn is probably over with now, but they'll still ball up groups of bait fish, push them up on real shallow areas right here. Out where you see that little stick sticking up at, or that post, is a hump, and it comes out probably about 15-20 yards in all directions around it. And right now, that's what I'm doing. I'm just kind of fishing that hump, just seeing if anything is got bait fish pushed up in. And what I'll do is I'll fish this a little while, and make a couple casts with the top water if I don't get anything. Sometimes you got to follow up with a swim bait, actually get the bait inside of the water, and fish down in the water column just a bit. That makes a big difference. But man, when they blow up on this top water, it's amazing. Heavy pressured areas right here. We'll make one more cast with this and we'll follow up with a swim bait. And we'll go on ahead and move on to the next spot. I'm looking for active fish that's cooling up and wanting to bite. Not really too much time. Around this time of the year now, is the early mornings are the premium times. We got to get out here and get to them. And if not, we're going to have high sun probably today, and that'll drive the fish maybe a little deeper. Might have to start fishing some docks as the days go on. This all depends on the conditions, on what I can pattern and what's going on. So.
Man, it is absolutely beautiful out here. And ain't nobody out here either.
No, that's why I like coming on the weekdays, man. That's why I love how we work,
Yeah.
I mean, I get to come out here when most of all your tournaments or your pleasure boaters are all out here. They're all out here, on the weekends, Saturday, Sunday, sometimes even Friday. And it'll like the ocean out here. There'll be 2, 3 foot, 4 foot waves because of all the pleasure boaters waking it up,
Yeah.
So I really don't ever get a chance to fish this spot too often because it's a main traffic line to get out to the lake. So I figured I'd just stop and try to give it a quick try, but it's not picking up on a whole lot. So we're gonna go ahead and move on to our next spot. Just up the lake a little bit right here. So the name of the game is try not to waste too much time. Try to get to them as soon as we can.
So real quick, can you show me or tell me what you got right there?
Yeah, so man, during this season here when the fish are up schooling pretty well, water temperature on the warmer side, we got about a 75-degree water temperature right now. I like to start off with my top water plugs. Any brand will do. It's just a walking bait. That's what it's called. It's a floater bait. You throw it out and you work it back, and it kind of just works the top of the surface, acting as an injured bait fish. So that's what I start with. And then if I don't get bit on that, or then I'll change up my presentation and go with a swim style bait. That's a Gamakatsu underspin with a caffeine shad, KVD caffeine shad, and that just gets the bait down in the water column a little bit more and gives a lively bait impression. And with that little flash, sometimes you can trigger them to bite. So These are my two main baits I'll be throwing this morning, and I'll also follow up with a fluke sometimes too. And it's kind of like the swim bait, but except it doesn't have an underspin on it, and it has more of a darting action from side to side. It was kind of erratic, kind of turns them on to eat. So, and then as the day goes on, if I find them out deep, I grab them up. I'll switch over to my spoon. I'll get out in 20, 30 foot of water, find structure down in the bottom, and vertically jig my spoon over the top of the structure. It can be a very fun way and a very deadly way to catch fish out here. As a matter of fact, this is a real good summer bait, a real good winter bait, and I mean it's one of my go-tos for certain when they go out deep and get tough. And then you can't forget about the old Cinco style stick bait worm. When things get hard, I got this little pea shot on it right now, but I normally rig it up a little different. But I was in a rush because I was on some fish the last time I fished it. But this is a slow presentation, but I don't know why, but the spotted bass and the largemouth bass, man, they love it. So when things get slow and I can't get them fishing fast, I'll switch up to a worm style or even a jig. I don't have a jig tied on right now, but I probably will at some point in time today. And it's a bigger profile, and normally you can catch some real good fish off the jig. So you'll see that when I tie that on. But for now, we'll go ahead and get on over to our next spot and see if we can get on a few more, get on some fish this morning. Why wouldn't you, right? I mean, it always holds fish. So, just like I said before, we'll get out here and throw a little bit of top water, see if we can get some top water action going on. Kind of go from there, Let the fish tell us what they want. It never fails. Pretty lively right now, pretty healthy. Probably been eating real good. That's a decent one. That's a nice spotted bass here. Look at his belly. See how full his belly is? Been in here eating bait fish. I mean, that's good. That's a good sign. I mean, the bait fish are still they're still eating pretty good on the bait fish. It's probably a good ton of bait fish there. Fishing, baby, gotta love it, right? Let's go ahead and get that back in the water. That was a good spot, man. That's a nice, good spot. Hopefully all of them, man. Upgrade, get a couple more in the boat. Oh, good spot,
And this is surprising to me because it's out in the middle of it's the middle of the lake. I wouldn't have thought.
Well, there's a hump that comes up out here, and unless you got grass or you've been fishing the lake for years, you kind of don't know that it's here, right?
And so you can tell from your live scope.
Well, no, I'm not even really using my live scope right now. What I'm looking at more so right now is my graph. It shows. You see, we got deep water. We got deep water surrounding this hump, and this hump really is an extension of this point that's kind of directly behind you here, and it's coming out in the water. It's coming out in the water up about 6 foot. About 6 foot of water up in right here. It's a little shallow there, so they push bait fish up here, and you got channels that run on each side of it, and it's just a perfect place for them to ambush fish and corral fish. have much wind, and sometimes slick surface also kind of it makes conditions a little tougher sometimes. So you want a nice little chop to the water, so they can't ever really get a good vision on the bait, and they go for it. The instinct can't stand it.
So a little wind is helpful.
A little wind is very helpful. I mean, you can catch them, in any conditions now. I mean, but a little wind for me and my confidence, I love when I get a little chop on the water and I can throw my top water baits at them. Maybe I switch up and throw spinner baits at them if the wind picks up. A little more than say about 5 to 10 miles an hour. If I get up 10 to 15, I'll pick up the spinner. And maybe chatterbait, just some of my go-tos that I like to fish. And I was hoping that we was gonna find a school of fish up here, school of bass, but caught that one of them first casts, and now I got bit the last couple, but that's just how it is. That's why it's called fishing, not catching. Once I make a couple casts of this, I'm gonna switch on up to my underspin, and then I'll try fluke, and we'll keep it moving. Yeah, I mean, I glance at it from time to time. If you can see here, those are fish there moving around. Those are fish too. You can see them swimming. So I'm gonna let my bait kind of fall a little bit more and kind of drag it a little slower, see if I can get them to strike. Like that. You know what I mean? Sometimes you just gotta switch it up. You gotta give them what they want. They wouldn't touch the hot water for a second time, wouldn't touch the swim bait, but then come up and got the fluke. It's just what it is. I like to see them rough chuck some bait fish. You know what they do. Second one for the day. Not a bad one. Real nice and lively, Just let them get back on in the water. Let's see if we can get us another one, man. Here, baby. That's a largemouth there. Ain't a big one. Largemouth nevertheless, Let's go. Going pretty well. Go. Chasing bait fish. That's a good thing. I was hoping we was gonna get out here and we was gonna catch some running bait fish.
They're jumping behind us.
Couple more casts and we'll move on to the next spot. Let's get rolling.
And you're talking about set up and ready to go within less than a minute.
Yeah, it's fast, man. I got him. Good footage there. Chunk, he ain't that tall, but barely. Full of big boulders, essentially. And I'm kind of running a fluke across the top of it and killing it. When I feel like I'm coming in contact with a rock, I kind of kill it and let it kind of just float down to the bottom, kind of mimic a dying fish. To see if there's big bass or something holding on those rocks. A lot of the times, there'll be bass holding on those, kind of just isolated by themselves, sitting on them. And a lot of times pretty good sized fish too. But as always, I mean, you know, it's a 50-50 chance whether something is there or not. I fished it pretty thoroughly yesterday, so I didn't get nothing, so I'm gonna move on up and go to another spot up here and you know, keep it moving until I can find them. Only had really one good spot this morning where we pulled up in and called them in. I think a lot of these fish are pulled out a little deeper now, and obviously, you know, it's a little more challenging to move out deeper. You have to switch your style of fishing up. Throw a drop shot or something like what I got tied on now. I throw a drop shot down, try to catch him that way. A little closer to the bottom, see what I can come up with. As the day go on, it can kind of get a little slow at times. And around this time now, probably from now to the end of the summer, it'll be, you know, you'll have your morning bite. That'll be real good when you first get out here. You'll hook into a few, and then right at sunset in the evening, it'll be the next premier time. Outside of that, you know, for me, you know, I kind of struggle throughout midday a lot of the times, just trying to find the fish that's gonna bite. So the midday is pretty much a struggle. But you got to keep fishing because you never know when you're going to get that big bite. You might catch a personal best. And that's what kind of keep you coming back for more, you know. Just never knowing how your day going to wind up going. Staying with it, remaining positive. Staying positive while you're fishing. And, you know, got positivity. You sure ain't gonna catch me. That's kind of the name of the game, sticking with it. Sticking with it until you get to that right spot, man. The right school on it. 15 minutes can make your whole day. 10 minutes can make your whole day. As fast as you can get them off, as fast as you can catch them. Done that many a times. I'm out here struggling. Next minute you know, you own them. You gotta get them. You have to pass. Check my line. I had them wrapped up pretty good. Right there, that's kind of a bad area. You don't really want to fish for that. You shouldn't be using your teeth either to do it. What I like to tie on most of these lures like this is something called a Palomar knot. It's just one of my favorite knots because it's a double line, so you get you know, a double loop in the eye of the hook, and all you do is pretty much go through the eye of the lure like that. Take this one. You go back through it, creating kind of like a little bunny ear. Essentially, you wind up like that right there, bunny ear, and then your two ends of your line. And you take it, form an overhand knot on it. Press it through, bring it through, form an overhead knot, and take your lure, and then bring it up through that. That loop created by the overhand knot. And then you wet it. You always want to wet your line up because you don't want it to burn as you cinch it down. And so you got a knot, that bottom knot. You want this top loop to stay on top of that bottom knot when you're doing it.
That's the right way to do it. So you cinch that bottom knot down. Now I got that top loop at the top, and I just draw it in. And what you get, and it's going to be hard to see on this lure here because it's white and it's hard to see the line. What you get is a double line through the eye with a knot on the top and a locking knot on the very top of that one. Just it's got a higher what's the word I'm looking for? It's a stronger knot to say the least, I guess. Maybe I'm trying to find too big of a word to say what I'm trying to say. Stronger knot.
Gotcha.
All right, to the next hole. Get lucky. I've been on struggle bus since this morning, you know. Kind of had a feeling that that's how the day was gonna go. That's why I wanted to get out here right at sunrise. Try to see what we can get on. I wish it was a little bit faster than that, but and we still got time and it ain't over with. So. We out. Threadfin shad and herring, blueback herring, and so swim baits are, you know, kind of can get bit pretty much any time of the year due to the forage. I just nose hook it, bring it out from up under the bottom, slide it up on my hook keeper, rotate my hook to come out of the back, and press the hook through the back. Gives me a nice hookup ratio when the fish jump it. A lot of people will use the wide gap hooks on these, and they skin hook it to keep the hook with a low profile. But we ain't fishing a lot of grass or weed or anything or anything like that. So you ain't really worried about getting hung up. So to increase my chances of the fish getting hooked, I like to expose my hook and leave it out the back like that. And I found. Minute, but here we are.
Good for one.
Good for one. Damn fluke about big as he is.
Oh.
I told you it's good for one. I ain't saying what size it was gonna be. Oh man. guys like to tie off to the buoys out there and down rig in. During the right time, man, you can catch a boatload of them. You also can come out at night fish and tie off to them. Stripers and hoppers like to run through here pretty well at that time as well. Great day of fishing. HookSetters, baby. Let's get it. Yep, we got on something, man. So, if you're coming out and hanging out, HookSetters, baby. Let's do it. Well, I want to appreciate y'all for coming out and hanging out with us today. You know, we got on a few fish today. It's a little slow, but ran into a couple hot spots. You know, ripped a couple lips, and hey man, it don't get no better than this. Come out and hang out with us sometime. HookSetters, holla. Well, that pretty much sums up our day of fishing. Had an awesome time as always, and just blessed to be able to come out here and do what I love. We got a little late start today, but got on some real early. Caught a few good ones, and good portion of the day was a struggle, you know. But that's all in the game of fishing, right? That's why they call it fishing and not catching. So. Pulled on a couple more spots later on and was able to get on top of some, and, you know, caught a limit if I was fishing a tournament, so that was a plus. I never got on a large school, but you know, you get what come your way, right? All in all, it was a real good day, and started off throwing top water. Pretty much all day I threw top water, underspin, swim bait, and the fluke. Got bites on all three. Wasn't fast, could never pinpoint down which one was working better than the other, but you know, did catch fish on all three baits, and thank God I didn't have to pick up a worm, because I hate picking up a worm. But yeah, it went just how I thought it was gonna happen, and that pretty much sums up our day.